Amigos y amigas, bienvenidos a un programa más de Napoleón Viraboa, analista político por YouTube. Recuerden de darnos un like y suscribirse a nuestro programa si no lo han hecho ya, si coinciden con nuestros puntos de vista. También les recuerdo que no se olviden de mandarnos sus comentarios. El programa de hoy va a ser un programa políticamente incorrecto, porque vamos a tocar temas muy controversiales.
Extremely alarming. Things on the U.S. border, things where the Biden administration is putting out bids to build detention centers, but not for illegals, possibly for American citizens. It's very concerning. To help me go through this all, I have JJ Carroll. JJ, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, I appreciate you having me because I'm excited to talk to you and your audience about this topic because it is I believe, the greatest threat to our republic is the fundamental transformation of America through the machine and mechanism of tens of millions of illegal aliens into our country.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about that. Let me just give some background to my audience. JJ served and protected the United States for over 20 years with Customs and Border Patrol. He's a speaker, a writer, and a documentary filmmaker. The U.S. border is a big worry for many Americans. They're saying right now it's actually a higher priority of concern than cost of living and inflation, although it's very close. Some are saying 10 million have illegally entered the country. Others are saying we've been invaded by over 30 million people. Either way, it's very concerning. But the first thing that I wanted to know is I am constantly seeing in the news Democrat leaders saying we need re-education camps for MAGA. We need to unbrainwash people that like Donald Trump. Then I start seeing that they are building these camps, and I start digging in, and I see, wait a minute, sometimes the ICE facilities are full, sometimes they're empty. Why do they need more beds? Help my audience and myself understand from your perspective what's going on with these like migrant camps or whatever that they are starting to build all over the country.
Okay, for your audience to understand, you hit this perfect, and I think that the numbers that come out of the numbers of illegal aliens plays right into this story. So under Joe Biden, projected out next 6 months, he will have arrested anywhere from 11.5 to 12 million illegal aliens and released 97% of them. At any given moment, the border is 80% unmanned, meaning over 1,600 miles of any time of the day, there's not one Border Patrol agent. This has never happened in the history of the United States Border Patrol. So you have 12 million arrested and released, and then you have another anywhere from 15 to 18 million that have crossed the border undetected and absconded. So there you have your 27 to 30 million. You have now reported 45 to 50 million illegal aliens inside of our borders right now. 1 in 6 residents in the United States of America is illegal alien. 1 in 6. Okay? Now, that plays right into ICE facility. ICE detention, we call them beds. There's 40,000 beds, roughly. They're almost all empty. How do I know this? Because on my last year in the Border Patrol was Joe Biden's first year. I have contacts, all my buddies, all my friends, everybody that I worked with, all up and down the coast, all on the border, and then in ICE and DHS. They all tell me the same thing. They're empty. Why? Because we catch them. We catch these illegal aliens, then we immediately release them. It's called street release. We turn them over to NGOs, and we literally dump them out in the big metropolitan areas or small rural towns across the southern border. So you have Joe Biden, you have Mayorkas, the Secretary of DHS, going in front of Congress constantly. We need more money for beds. We need more money for beds. Why? You don't put anybody in there. Now, through one of my interviews in my documentary, This is Treason, I'm interviewing a lady that runs a powerful organization, and she's made her money as being a DOD contractor. And she said to me, do you know that there are bids out to construct detention facilities in every state of our nation? What? I said, he goes, yeah, you just got to go on. And I have my co-host on my podcast, Unrestricted Invasion. He's an intel analyst. He has access to everything. He just sits on his computer one day, boom, boom, boom. Hey, screenshot, look at that. Detention facilities. Why? Why are you building detention facilities all across America? Honestly, that's a intellectually honest question to ask. Wait a minute. You're using NGOs to house them in hotels. Are you telling me you're building detention facilities for illegal aliens? Or, as I asked the person I was interviewing, Christy Hutcherson, I said, ma'am, why are they building them? Well, they're building them, JJ, because those are for dissidents. Those are people that don't believe in open borders. Those are people that will not take the vaccine. Those are people that are dangerous to society. And why this individual, Christy Hutcherson, that I was interviewing, was so powerful in her description, because she was the person that was getting the bids to build FOBs, forward operation bases, FOBs in war zones, to pull our troops back, or to set up FOBs to go into war. She's very in tune to what these camps are used for. And she's telling me, JJ, these are for dissidents. And then as I'm sitting there listening to her talk to me about this, in my brain I'm thinking, do you believe her? Yes, I do. Do you believe your government? The same government that interned Japanese Americans, same government that got us into a war for weapons of mass destruction, $4 trillion, tens of thousands of people dead, soldiers dead, tens of hundreds of thousands brutalized mentally or physically in war. The same government that told you that bats gave COVID-19, and actually it was Americans in China doing it, and then you had to take a vaccine that doesn't work, that the border's secure, but it's not really. That same government, I'm supposed to believe that government, the same government that did medical experiments on African Americans, the same government in the 60s that took women that were, quote, crazy, and then removed all their organs to give birth. That government, I'm supposed to believe that government, or the lady that's sitting there telling me, you need to listen to what I'm saying, plus your 24 years experience in the Border Patrol, plus all your research you do for your book and your documentary. Are you telling me you don't believe me, JJ? And I'm like, no, I absolutely believe you. I love my country. I challenge anyone that could say they love their country more than me. But I will tell you, I despise with everything in my being our government. Our government is evil. And you don't have to. It's not even just the border. It's everything. Tell me one thing, one segment of society that rules our lives: education, healthcare, religion, government, the intel agencies, law enforcement. Do you trust any of them? think that's a fair question. Does anybody trust any organization that has any control over your life right now? And for me, my answer is no. I don't trust any of them. This is a guy that's in law enforcement having to tell his wife and his son, if the police show up at your door, at the FBI, you are not to allow them in. You're not to answer even a single question. You asked me that 10 years ago, they'll be like, no, we're going to talk to those police. We're going to talk to the FBI. We're going to talk to everyone. We're going to be helpful. No, we're not talking to anyone. In fact, I want you off my property if you don't have a warrant. I mean, all the way off. I want you on the street. I don't even want you standing in my yard. That's the world we live in now. And it's inexcusable, but we allowed it to happen because we remained silent for so long.
Yeah. Okay. My my brain went down like 7 different paths while you were talking. Okay. Let me try and get my thoughts here. Okay. During COVID, I witnessed the Chinese government and the Australian government building camps where they were locking people up because they wouldn't buy in to the psyop. They wouldn't buy into the propaganda. They wouldn't take the miracle shot, right? And then I saw them. I was like, no, okay, well, you took it, but now we don't believe that you are trusting your government, so we're going to keep you longer. And like I started witnessing this, going, oh my gosh, thank goodness I live in America, the land of the free, right? And then I started seeing the Biden administration just slowly creeping and then very quickly creeping on our rights. We find out they're lying to us through social media. They're lying to us through crime statistics. They're lying to us about the border. There's no problem on the border. Republicans are the reason for the problem on the border. And then next thing they're like, oh, there is a major problem and Republicans are the problem. It's like I feel like I'm being lied to and gaslit every single day. I'm with you. It's like I can't even believe I live in America and this is happening right now.
No, you're absolutely right. And you hit on the head before I answer your question. You have sitting Congress people talking about MAGA people need to be re-educated, put in camps. You have the governor of New York, Hochul, who is an imbecile, actually won court cases where if they be deemed, a problem to society, mean either I don't agree with the politics or there's another pandemic, she can put us into camps. They approve that through the courts. So what you and I are talking about is not theoretical. We're not saying, well, what if? These are plans laid out. Do you think, here's the bigger question that everyone needs to ask. The Democrats are so close to having complete domination. Every illegal alien is being registered to vote. You can believe that that's not happening. It's happening through the NGOs. The Democrats are this close to having complete control over everything. Do you think they're going to allow Donald Trump just to have a vote and allow him to be president? There's no way. There's no way. And when that happens, if he's not allowed to be president, we are looking at tyranny that we can't even imagine. Look, I'm telling you, the border is absolutely wide open. I'm telling you that there's 250,000 special interest aliens. I'm telling you over 210,000 Chinese nationals, with 120,000 have already been determined to be PLA soldiers through intel and analysts. That's just 2 topics. We're talking about a million Venezuelans, all from jails and insane asylums empty. We're talking about Haiti with over 1 million. We're talking about tens of millions of single adult military age men from the continent of Africa, the Middle East, and other countries that hate America. And you tell me, this is not my data, by the way. This is CBP data on cbp.gov. So I don't believe their data. I believe it's grossly conservative, but just using their data, which is unbelievable. Tell me how that works out for America. Tell me how that's going to be good for America. And you can't.